Hello, welcome to the channel. This video is about participles. Let's get started. This is the second part of the participle phases. We are going to talk about present participles. Let's take a look what areas should we cover. The first area, link between two sentences that are closely connected, giving reasons, especially replacing longer phrases with words such as because, since, or as. And number 3, talk about two actions or events happening at the same time, and some useful tips as well as using a participle phases. That is something we have to care about. Then, what is the number one thing that we have to concern? The number one thing we have to concern is the reason of using present participial phases. Let's take a look. We can use participial phases to replace a longer phrase with a subject. Present participle phrase can be used to, number 1, link two sentences that are closely connected. Example, I struggled with my Cantonese, making a fool of myself in front of my relatives. I struggled with my Cantonese. I made a fool of myself in front of my relatives. Both of these sentences are sharing the one subject, I. So that's why they're connected in this way. We can replace and connect two sentences by using present participle, ing, changing the word made to become making, and take away the subject I, and put a comma. So the whole sentence will become, I struggled with my Cantonese, comma, making a fool of myself in front of my relatives. Then what is the other usage of participial phases? Let's take a look. Participial phases could give reasons, replacing longer phrases with words such as because, since, and as. Example, living in Hong Kong. This is function as a category, telling you more about the whole sentence. The reason, I know how busy and exciting life in a city can be. Living in Hong Kong actually is a sentence because I live in Hong Kong. Another example, not wishing to become unhealthy, I exercise regularly and eat healthy food. Not wishing to become unhealthy is another category, telling you the reason of exercise regularly and eating healthy food. And not wishing to become unhealthy is coming from a sentence since, I don't wish to become unhealthy. There is another situation that we could use present participial phases. Let's take a look. To talk about two actions or events happening at the same time and replaces phrases of linking verbs like while, as, and when. Example, walking down the street, I saw an interesting new shop. As I was walking down the street, I saw an interesting new shop. These two actions, was walking and I saw, they are happening at the same time. By replacing the first sentence with a present participial phrase, walking down the street, so we can tell two actions that happen at the same time to the reader. Now, that is some very useful tips while we are using present participial phrase. Let's take a look. What is it? We can form present participial phrases with verbs that are usually used in continuous tense, such as the color red, be, work to be, or no, and love, as well as wish. Example, knowing that Felix loves pizza, I took him to an Italian restaurant. That is some other very important information that you have to be aware when you're using present participle phases. So you have to make sure both sentences are using the same subject. What does it mean? Let's take a look. Walking down the street, an interesting shop caught my eye. Who is walking down the street? Of course, it's talking about yourself. However, the second part, an interesting shop caught my eye. The subject is an interesting shop. So in this case, you means an interesting shop was walking down the street, which is completely different from the original meaning. These could not be using present participial phrase. Okay, that's really nice. And that's all for today. Now, like this video and subscribe to our channel. See you next time. Goodbye.